Hey Movi teens, we hope that this weekend has been absolutely incredible for you. I know I've had a great time, I know Scott's had a great time, and we hope you have had a great time. You've heard multiple different messages this week, one from Curtis, really about what it means to love God with our heart, soul, mind, and strength. You heard a message Saturday morning about what it means to allow the love of God to be seen in us as we love others. And then you heard last night a great message from Mike as he was talking about what it means really for us to love God through our obedience. And so Scott was going to just share a little bit about how this even ties to our theme. So why don't you share that, man?
Yeah, so if you've been with us here this year at Movi, you know that our theme is more than anything. The love of God will be seen in me the more I learn of God's love for me. And so we've had this idea that the love of God will be seen in us. And we really wanted people to understand that and see that as we've opened that up this weekend. We wanted you to understand that. I needed to understand that even more. And so we were helped to see that on Friday night as we learned of loving God more with our mind and with our hearts and with everything that we have. We learned of that more on Saturday morning when we learned to love others. The love of God will be seen in us. And then Saturday night as well, as we looked at the love of God being played out in our lives as we walk in obedience. The love of God will be seen in us. So we've been given this incredible chance, this incredible opportunity to allow God's love to shine through us as we love Him with more than anything than we could ever possibly imagine.
So what are we asking you to do? I guess that's the question, right? Because as we listen to God's word and as we really listen to what He wants and what He has for us, the question that we really need to ask is, what is it that we are to do? And while you can really take action with multiple different things when it comes to this weekend, one of the things that we really want to get after this year is our challenge, which is simply this: to try something new, to connect with God, and be honest about your experience. So what would that look like for you to actually develop a personal time with God, where you're spending time with Him, where you're listening to His voice, and where you're truly allowing the love of God to be seen in you through everything that you do? Well, earlier this year, if you remember, we actually have been talking about different pathways and different challenges for you to really spend time and to connect with God. And so we're trying to really get after this year, and there's multiple different ones, and so we're just going to walk you through some of them.
Yeah, some of the sacred pathways is what we've been calling ways that we can connect with God. And so a few of those have been through nature. So getting out in nature and connecting with God through His creation, or through senses, the availability and the ability to connect with God through sights and sounds, or study, the ability to connect with God through studying His Word and getting to know Him through that, or even celebration, the opportunity we have to connect with God through celebrating who He is and all that He has done for us.
And then there's also reflection, which is connecting with God by considering who He is and what He's done. There's also tradition and what that means to connect with God through symbols and structure. Also service we've talked about, where we're connecting with God through loving and serving other people. Also solitude, and maybe just the busyness of this world and the noisiness of our culture. Really what this means is connecting with God through silence and simplicity. And lastly, activism, where this is connecting with God through making a difference in the world.
So here's what we want to encourage you to do. Every one of these pathways works for a different person, maybe more than it does for another person. And so we want you to try one of these pathways. And tomorrow at breakfast, you're going to find that we have these journals and stickers, and the stickers kind of describe the pathways and different things that you can do to connect with God through that particular pathway. And you'll also have a journal where you can kind of write down and record some of the ways in which you have been connecting with God through that pathway. And so tomorrow at breakfast, make sure that you find some of those resources, because we want you to find out how you can best connect with God, because God created you, He loves you, and He wants His love to be seen through you, because He has a purpose and plan for your life. And the best way for that to happen is for you to learn of His love for you, to get to know Him and continue to grow in relationship with Him.
So as we close out, when people look at your life, when they look through the window of your life, what do you want them to see? And really what we are encouraging you, we want people to see the love of God in and through your life, through how you love God, through your obedience to Him, through how you love others. And one of the things that we really want to encourage you to do this year, as we've been talking about, this really continues to grow and develop in your life as you spend time with the God who made you, who loves you, who calls you His own. So would you be willing to really take one of these pathways to continue practicing the presence of God within your own life, because we really believe that His presence will change your practice. And so take action with this. We love you guys. We hope that you guys had an incredible weekend, and we believe that God is going to continue to work in and through your lives. Have an awesome night, and we'll see you tomorrow at breakfast.